Visitors to the Mount Hamilton Cemetery are distraught at the shape of the graveyard. Mud and tractor tread marks mar some of the final resting places there. As Sylvie Lenve tells us, families of people buried there say more upkeep needs to be done.
We can't even tell who's buried here, but when their loved one comes up and sees this and can't even pay homage to the person who they loved because of the mud that's covering this tombstone, and there could be damage and cracking to these stones that cost a fortune.
Bernadette Amalfi was visiting her brother's grave with her family over the Easter weekend when she noticed mud covering tombstones, flooding, track marks, and memorial debris at the Mount Hamilton Cemetery.
There's been over 10 or 12 people buried here over the winter. We understand that the ground is wet, but there should have been plywood put down. The gravesite should have been protected from being damaged and fixed right after.
The Superintendent of Cemeteries for the city of Hamilton says they do put down plywood, but there are some operational challenges.
First would be the soil type, which is clay. So the soil does not drain very well, therefore it causes it to remain wet for a longer period of time. Combine this with the spring season, we experience our challenge in our operations with the melting snow and the rainfall that we get. In addition, that particular area is the lowest point of the cemetery. So what we found is that the water that is draining from the south portion does tend to pool in that area.
Most of the new burials are in this area,
meaning our vehicles drive in and out quite a bit. So the weight of our equipment is what causes the ground damage. It causes the equipment to sink, meaning everything else comes up on the outside of it.
Bernadette says some of the newer memorials were covered in mud yesterday. As you can see, crews have worked to clean it up this morning, but she says it's still not enough.
This is someone who's been buried recently that doesn't have a tombstone yet or a headstone, and it's literally flooded.
Her family saddened by the mess.
I think they need to respect the people who are buried here. I think they need to take into account that their loved ones come and visit. It's important for us, as being owners of gravesites here, to know that we're going to be taken care of after we die.
The city says crews have to wait until May or June to do a proper cleanup. That's when the soil becomes drier. Sylvie Lenve, CHCH News.